Credit. If you haven't got credit, you've got a low credit rating, and you have to get credit to get a better credit rating. And the more debt that you get into through taking credit, the better your credit rating is. Now work that out. I've got a friend at the moment that what he does, he puts everything on his credit card during the month, and just before the end of the month, he pays it off. And they actually give him cash back. However, because he pays it off in time, his credit rating's actually lower than if he'd have gone into the interest part where they could have made some more money on him, but yet him still making the minimum payments. Think of that. Just as long as you want. Basically, they want to get you into debt, and they'll bribe you and blag you by any means necessary to get you there. And for the idiots, and many of them out there are doing this, they'll take on credit to try and prove their credit rating. Here's the thing, my credit rating's lower than a snake's ass. Do you know why? Because I don't go to the bank for loans. I buy stuff that I can afford, or I don't have it. Now I understand that you have to go to a bank for a mortgage, that's it. But other than that, everything else, if you can't afford to have it, try to avoid having it. Because the moment you go to them for their money, right, they're fitting you up with all of these agreements and clauses and interest bearing. So you'll pay more for it anyway. We've become very lazy. We have, through programming, through the system, become that I must have it now, and I must have that new lump of metal sat on my drive to show everybody else I'm doing well. But to the rest of us, we're aware that that person had to go and put himself into more debt just to have that lump of metal that's devaluating on his drive sat there so he could prove to everybody else he's got money that he doesn't have. It's amazing. But yet everybody falls for it. I mean, you get a credit rating if you've got a phone. Think about that. How is that? Well, that's just another one of these obligations that you then take on, so they now know where you go, what you spend, what you do, etc. You're leaving a lovely footprint with a phone, and yes, I am talking to you on a phone. I get that. But it's a kind of must. They've made the system in such a way that you have to abide by it, or you're fucked. But when it comes to certain things like credit, do your best to avoid. Now, if that gives you a bad credit rating, ask yourself why. Anyway, this public service was brought to you by a man named Callow. Thank you very much, Callow. See you in a bit.